When Alex got down on one knee and proposed to me, it felt like every broken piece of my past finally lined up into something whole. We'd been together for 4 years at that point, and I can honestly say he's the kind of partner I once thought didn't exist. He's patient in a way that steadies me when I spiral. He's funny in the moments when I need to laugh most. He's supportive without making me feel weak, and he's kind in a way that just radiates through everything he does. To me, our relationship has always felt like a second chance. Before Alex, life had been a mess, filled with betrayal, disappointment, and a family dynamic that constantly made me feel like I was the problem, when really, all I ever wanted was peace. That's why when we started planning our wedding, I told myself one thing. This is going to be a day that's about love, joy, and calm. No drama, no guilt, just us celebrating what we've built together. But I should have known my mom would find a way to complicate things. See, my family isn't loud or explosive. We're not the kind of people who scream at Thanksgiving dinners or throw plates across the room. Instead, the dysfunction runs quiet, like an undercurrent. Problems aren't solved, they're buried. Tension doesn't explode. It just seeps through the cracks, year after year. And my mom? She's the queen of pretending. She's so allergic to conflict that she'll manipulate and guilt trip and cry until everyone gives in, all in the name of keeping peace. But the truth is, her version of peace always means I'm the one sacrificing. The core of all of this goes back to my older sister, Melissa. When we were kids, she and I were close. Inseparable, really. She was the sister I told everything to, the one I looked up to. I thought she'd always have my back. That illusion shattered in college. During my junior year, I was dating my first serious boyfriend, Tyler. He wasn't just some random fling. We'd been together 3 years, and we had already started talking about engagement. I trusted him. I loved him. I thought he was going to be my forever. Then I found out Melissa had been sleeping with him behind my back. It wasn't a one-time mistake. It wasn't some drunken slip-up. It was an affair. A full-blown, ongoing betrayal from not just the person I loved, but the sister I trusted more than anyone. And when I confronted Melissa, hoping maybe she'd break down, apologize, show even the slightest bit of remorse, she didn't. She didn't cry. She didn't beg for forgiveness. She didn't even deny it. She just looked at me with this cold indifference and said something like, "Well, if he cheated on you, maybe you weren't enough for him." I will never forget those words. They cut deeper than the betrayal itself. I walked away from her that day and never looked back. Tyler and I broke up, of course, but the wound Melissa left behind was bigger than anything Tyler ever did to me. She broke my trust. She broke my sense of worth. She made me question if I was ever enough for anyone. And worst of all, she never once showed regret. My mom, though, she acted like it was nothing. She brushed it off as though Melissa and I had just argued over a borrowed dress. Men make mistakes, she'd say. Sisters shouldn't hold grudges. I tried explaining to her how deep the betrayal cut, how it wasn't just a fight, but she wouldn't hear it. She told me I was overreacting, that family was forever, and that one day I'd regret holding on to bitterness. That's when I realized she was never going to take my side. Not then, not now, not ever, so I stopped talking about it. I stopped expecting her to understand. I focused on building my own life far away from Melissa's shadow. Fast forward to now. Alex and I were making plans for a small wedding. About 80 people, only those who truly loved and supported us. It was supposed to be intimate, peaceful, and filled with people who actually wanted the best for us. Melissa wasn't even a thought in my mind. She hadn't been part of my life for years. And I wasn't about to let her waltz in on my happiest day and taint it with old wounds. But then Mom found out about the engagement. Her very first question wasn't about my dress or the venue, or even how excited I was. No, she looked me dead in the eye and asked, "So, are you inviting Melissa?" When I said no, her face dropped like I had just told her I was canceling Christmas. She gasped, clutched her chest, and said, "You can't do that." "She's your sister," I tried explaining calmly. I told her Melissa wasn't part of my life, that her betrayal still cut too deep, and that I wasn't willing to risk my peace on such an important day. But Mom wouldn't hear it. She launched straight into guilt mode. "How do you think this will make the family look?" she asked. "Do you really want to create more drama by leaving her out?" The irony of that question nearly made me laugh. I wasn't the one creating drama. I was trying to avoid it. But over the next few weeks, the pressure escalated. My phone buzzed constantly with texts and calls from Mom, all of them repeating the same script. And then she roped in other relatives, aunts, cousins, even a couple of uncles. Suddenly, I was getting messages like, "It would mean so much to Grandma if the family was all together." Or, "You don't want to regret this later in life." The final straw was when Mom threatened not to come to my wedding at all if Melissa wasn't invited. She claimed she didn't want to take sides, but that was exactly what she was doing. She was choosing Melissa's comfort over my peace. It broke me a little. I love my mom, even though she drives me crazy. The thought of her not being there hurt more than I wanted to admit. But I also knew if I gave in, if I invited Melissa, it would poison the entire day for me. Alex was a rock through it all. He told me over and over that it was my choice, and that if my mom couldn't respect my boundaries, that was on her, not me. So instead of sending Melissa an invitation, I wrote her a letter. I poured out everything I'd been carrying for years. I told her how her betrayal scarred me, how it destroyed my ability to trust, and how my wedding day wasn't about grudges. It was about love and healing. I told her I didn't hate her, but I couldn't pretend we were close when we weren't. Not for appearances. Not for Mom. Not for anyone. Melissa didn't take it well. She fired back with angry texts calling me immature and petty. She said I was forcing the family to choose sides, and that I was letting the past destroy our relationship. Mom, of course, joined in. She called me crying, saying Melissa was devastated, and that I was cruel for shutting her out. I told her my decision was final. And then I stopped responding. The wedding day came, and honestly, it was beautiful. It was everything I wanted. Melissa wasn't there. Mom was cold with me most of the day, but I didn't let it get to me. I danced, I laughed, I celebrated with the people who loved us. And for the first time in years, I felt light. I felt free. But now that the wedding is over, the fallout has begun. Melissa posts cryptic messages online about betrayal and family disloyalty. Mom sends me long, exhausting texts about how disappointed she is in me. A few relatives say I made the wrong choice. And while a small part of me feels guilty, a bigger part of me knows this truth. I protected my peace. I chose myself. I chose Alex. And for once, I didn't let my mom's guilt or Melissa's games dictate my happiness. Still, the question lingers. Did I do the right thing? Was I selfish for choosing myself? Or was this the first time I finally put my well-being where it belonged? First? Yesterday, Melissa posted yet another cryptic message on Facebook. This one said something like, "People always show their true colors when they think they've won." And of course, half the comments were predictable. Some of our mutual relatives jumped in with things like, "Ser si dedo and stand dambu." You're better off without toxic people in your life. Or, some folks just can't handle a strong woman. It doesn't take a detective to figure out who they're talking about. It's obviously me. And honestly, it's exhausting. Meanwhile, Mom has been playing her usual role, trying to act like the peacemaker while actually pouring gasoline on the fire. She still calls me, still talks to me, but every single conversation feels heavy, strained, and uncomfortable. And she always manages to slip Melissa into it, no matter the topic. It's little things like, "Oh, I had coffee with Melissa yesterday. She's really struggling." Or, "I just wish you could see how much this is hurting her." Every time she says stuff like that, I feel that familiar tug. That guilt she's so good at planting in me. But I've been holding firm. I tell her politely, but directly, that I'm not ready to reconcile and that she needs to respect my boundaries. Whether she'll ever truly respect that is another story. Through all of this, Alex has been the one keeping me grounded. He tells me to breathe, to focus on us, and not the chaos swirling around outside our little bubble. He's encouraged me to shift my attention to our new life together, to remember that the whole point of getting married was to build something beautiful, not to be dragged backward into old wounds. He even suggested we take a short trip somewhere, just the two of us, to unplug from the family drama completely. And honestly, I think he's right. A little distance from all of this noise might be exactly what I need. The hardest part, though, has been the mixed reactions from the extended family. Some relatives have messaged me privately, saying they get it, they support me, and that they don't think I should feel guilty. Those messages mean the world to me. They make me feel like I'm not completely crazy for wanting peace. But others have clearly picked Melissa's side, either by commenting on her vague social media posts or by making little digs in our family group chats. Suddenly, everyone has an opinion about something that really shouldn't involve them at all. It feels like my personal boundaries became the latest family debate topic, and it's draining. But here's the surprising part. I don't actually miss Melissa. Not even a little. You'd think that after years of distance, after a big life event like a wedding, there might be a pang of longing to reconnect. But no. If anything, this whole ordeal has just confirmed that I made the right call years ago. Melissa has shown me over and over that she's not interested in taking responsibility or respecting my feelings. And I'm done begging for scraps of love from someone who doesn't value me. That said, I'd be lying if I said it wasn't emotionally draining. I'm tired of being painted as the villain just because I chose to protect my peace. I'm tired of explaining and re-explaining my reasons to people who don't even want to understand. And I'm especially tired of Mom treating Melissa's pain as if it matters more than mine. At this point, I don't want to cut Mom off, but if she keeps pushing, I honestly might not have a choice. So right now, I'm standing my ground. I'm trying to keep my focus on the good things, my marriage, my friends, this new chapter Alex and I are building. But the family drama still hangs over me like a storm cloud, and I can't seem to shake it. And then came Update 2. I thought after the wedding, things would calm down. Maybe the dust would settle. Instead, it's escalated into something I never could have predicted. At this point, it honestly feels like I've been unwillingly cast in some dramatic soap opera I never signed up for. The first twist came in the form of a package. When I saw Melissa's name on the return label, my stomach dropped. For a second, I considered tossing it straight in the trash. But curiosity got the better of me, and I opened it. Inside was a handwritten letter, several pages long, and a small photo album. The letter caught me off guard. It wasn't the furious rant I expected. Instead, it was this bizarre blend of apology and excuse. She started out with, "I'm sorry for everything. I regret the pain I caused you." But then, almost immediately, she pivoted into justification. She said she'd been in a dark place during the affair, that she didn't really understand the consequences of her actions at the time. She even wrote about how she felt like she was always living in my shadow growing up, and that Tyler had given her the attention she'd been craving. Reading it, I couldn't tell if she was apologizing or asking me to feel sorry for her. The album made it even stranger. It was filled with photos of us as kids, birthdays, holidays, random afternoons playing in the backyard. At first, a few of the pictures made me smile, but mostly, they just made me sad. It felt like Melissa was trying to drag me back into nostalgia, to remind me of a bond that hasn't existed in years. But instead of making me want to reconnect, it just reminded me how much distance there really is between us now. I showed Alex the letter and the album. He read them quietly, then looked at me and said, "It's okay to acknowledge her feelings. But remember, you don't owe her anything." He told me not to rush into responding, that it was better to take my time. So for now, the letter and the album are shoved in a drawer. Out of sight, out of mind. But before I could even process that, Mom pulled her most dramatic move yet. She decided to stage what she called a family intervention. I wish I were making this up. She sent a group text to me, Melissa, and several relatives, inviting us all to her house to talk things out like adults. I didn't even know what to say. The idea of walking into that room, knowing half the people there already sided with Melissa, felt like walking into an ambush. So I told Mom I wasn't going. She didn't take it well. Within minutes, she was on the phone with me, crying, pleading, saying things like, "We're a family," and "families don't turn their backs on each other." I tried explaining that forcing a conversation wasn't going to magically heal old wounds, but she didn't want to hear it. She insisted she was doing it for my own good, and accused me of being stubborn. In the end, I didn't go. I spent the afternoon with Alex instead, trying to forget about the whole mess. But the fallout was brutal. Mom called afterward, furious. She told me Melissa showed up, along with everyone else, and that my absence was proof that I was the one keeping the family divided. She accused me of being selfish, cruel, and unwilling to move forward. Then she hung up before I could say a word. Not long after, the messages from relatives started rolling in. A cousin texted me, You should have been there. It was really healing for Melissa. An aunt sent me a long note about how I was stubborn and cruel for refusing to give Melissa the chance to apologize face to face. Apparently, Melissa cried during the meeting and told everyone how much she missed me and wanted to make things right. And now, half the family is treating her like the victim, while I'm painted as the cold, heartless sister who won't budge. It's maddening. No one seems to care about how I feel or what I've been through. They're all so obsessed with this fantasy of family unity that they're willing to sweep every betrayal under the rug if it means keeping up appearances. Meanwhile, I'm the villain simply because I refuse to play along. At this point, even my relationship with Mom feels like it's crumbling. She's gone from being disappointed to downright icy. She barely talks to me now, and when she does, her words drip with passive aggression. She even canceled a lunch we had planned, claiming she wasn't feeling well, but I know it was her way of punishing me. And that hurts. No matter how much I brace myself, it still hurts. The only bright spot in all this chaos has been the people who actually stand in my corner. A few close friends have stepped up for me in ways I'll never forget. And of course, Ethan has been my anchor through it all. One of my best friends, Hannah, came over recently with a couple of bottles of wine and a bag full of snacks. We curled up on the couch and talked for hours about everything. About family, betrayal, and the never-ending guilt trips. She looked me straight in the eye and told me I wasn't crazy. I wasn't being unreasonable, and I wasn't wrong for setting boundaries. She reminded me that protecting my own mental health is not only okay, it's necessary. Hearing her say that out loud was exactly what I needed in that moment. But even with that reassurance, the guilt lingers like a shadow I can't fully shake. Sometimes I wonder if I'm being too rigid, if maybe I should just bend a little for my mom's sake, try to patch things up just to keep the peace. Then I think about everything I've been through, the years I've spent healing, the nights I cried myself to sleep, the strength it's taken to rebuild myself, and I realize that letting Marissa back into my life without a real apology and genuine accountability would undo all of that progress. And if I'm being honest, I don't think she's capable of that kind of accountability. Deep down, I know she isn't. So here I am, stuck in the middle of a storm I never asked for. I'm holding my ground because I know I have to, but the pressure is constant, and it's exhausting. My mom has grown distant. Marissa plays the victim at every turn, and parts of my extended family have taken her side. Sometimes loudly, sometimes in those sly, backhanded ways that hurt just as much. It feels like I'm always defending myself, always explaining why I chose peace over chaos, and it drains me more than I can put into words. I keep questioning myself. Am I doing the right thing? Am I too harsh? But when I quiet the noise and listen to my own gut, I know I'm right where I need to be. Now I'm left wondering how to move forward. Do I write Marissa back and try, one last time, to explain myself? Or would that just open another door for her to twist the situation and manipulate me further? And then there's my mom. Can I find a way to hold on to her without letting her pull me back into a cycle of guilt and pressure? Or do I have to accept that our relationship may never be the same again? The thought of losing her breaks my heart, but I can't keep sacrificing myself just to make her happy. Through all of this, Ethan has been steady. He keeps reminding me that our future, the life we're building together, is what really matters, not the noise of people who refuse to respect me. Still, it's hard to block it out when the weight of family drama sits on your chest day after day. I didn't choose any of this, but I'm the one who has to live with it. So that's where I stand right now. I'm focusing on the good things. My marriage, the friends who show up for me, and the peace I'm carving out for myself, even as the storm rages in the background. It helps more than I can say to share this here, to let it out and hear from people who understand. Whatever comes next, I know this much. I refuse to go backward.